Welcome everybody. We have a brand new security system here in Munich in Germany. Canary is launching now. You have probably heard of them from the Indiegogo campaign that they have launched in 2013, and now they are a fully fledged security company here with an awesome hardware and software made in New York. So we have the Canary camera with HD 147 degree resolution, or actually not resolution, but obviously wide angle. And you can see here how the angle looks like. So I'm sitting outside and I can watch myself, since there is a camera right here in the corner somewhere, but I can see the full garden here outside in Munich and me shooting the video. If I hold my hand up, for example, after a few seconds, you will see it also here. You can see there's not that much of a lag. But I have multiple cameras here set up in this event location, so I can see what is happening in front of the location. For example, there is a builder working on the street, and then I have also here a camera in the bar downstairs, so I can see if the cocktails are getting ready, for example. So I can go back here to the view, but what I want to show you first is the hardware, and I will tell you a little bit more about the software, since there's a lot to check in the software here for Canary. So first of all, the box costs about 200 bucks. Here in Germany it will be 220 euros. It's available in a lot of countries already, in the Norwegian countries, Nordic countries, in the US, in the UK, and so on. So you have here, as I said, a 147 degree camera with really good HD resolution, and also some sensors for low light. Low light I cannot show you right now because it's noon here, but the sensor is really good for low light. You can definitely check out a few footages that a few users have uploaded already about burglaries happening, obviously, when it's a little bit darker outside. Then we have obviously a microphone built in, so there's always sound also recorded with the video. On the top we have, I think these are the speakers, because we have a 90 decibel speaker, a siren, which is just really quite loud. Then on the bottom we have a few other sensors and also light. So we have different lights, as you can see here. Yellow light, for example, when it's disarmed. Then we have privacy mode and armed mode, which are obviously different colors. I think armed would be maybe red, and privacy probably green, but I'm not sure. Yellow is the one that you usually have set it on, which is disarmed when you're at home but you still want to record the camera. And then on the back you can see the Canary logo, and then a network port. It has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth also built in, but if you want to use it via cable, that also works. And then obviously USB for giving the device power. There's no battery built in, so if a burglar would come home, unplug the device right away so that it doesn't even see anything from behind, then that would be obviously unfortunate. But usually you set it up somewhere where first the camera will probably record something, and then you will see that it uploads right away to the server, and you have the footage of that person. And then we have also the headset jack here. So for setting it up, you need to plug it in once in your phone. If you don't want to do it via Bluetooth, which is also possible via setup, that's a secure setup, you have to plug it into the headset jacks here. And via Bluetooth there is touch on the top, so you can just touch the device, and then it's also set up at the first time. So as I said, it's available since last year in the US, and now it will be also available in Germany. Here the Canary system. Here again, the box is also looking quite good. There is some content, there is some, as you can see here, specs also on the back, like for example that it has full HD resolution and night vision built in. And then on the side, the part where we are continuing to check out now, because there's, as I said, a lot of sensors inside, which I haven't even mentioned yet, and I will show you that in the app. So you have seen that there were 3 cameras set up, and if you turn around your phone, Android or iOS devices are compatible right now. You can sound the siren on the camera you have right here, for example, in front of the door. If I want to upset the builder right here in front of the door, I can sound the siren, and he will probably fall off the thing that he is sitting on right now, probably. Or I can just get an emergency call. I can close the live view and check on that camera. I've on right now the temperature, so we have 20 degrees outside right now. The humidity in the air is 37%, and we can also check the air quality, which is not working right now since it has been only set up a few hours before I arrived. So you need at least 24 hours for the sensors to give you a graph, and then you can set notifications for anything that happens, not only in front of the camera but also here with these measurements. For example, if somebody is opening the window, then the air quality will be better because oxygen is coming in from outside into an apartment. Then this will be also quite nice to just have these kind of sensors also, especially since, for example, Netatmo, you probably know those, they are selling a camera and their sensors for inside and outside separately, for just this feature, for the weather feature, and then you can just have one device for this, for example, that you have the oxygen quality inside as a sensor. So if you go to your timeline, you will see that somebody came home. It's in German right now, since it was in German before we set it up, and it also recognizes that there is some activity in front of the picture, mainly obviously here in the back garden, and then it will always record it. And if you think one of them is important, you can bookmark it. And for the free mode, since obviously everything is, as I said, storage on a server at Canary with encryption, so Canary cannot access the data because it's encryption between the phone and the server, and between the server and the camera, obviously, so they cannot access the information unless you give them the information. So if you want to watch a video or comment it, you can definitely do that. You can switch here between the different events, like if it was armed, or if you want to check your bookmarks, or if you just want to see everything. And you can check also the last few days. And as I mentioned before, so if you have the free plan, which means that you buy the device and then you don't pay a monthly fee to Canary, then you get the last 12 hours of video to access from the cloud, or obviously live always. If you pay €5 a month, for example, you get the last, if I remember right, 5 days or maybe 3 days, I'm not sure. Right now you can check the plans out online on Canary. And then also you can see here, if you go to the settings here in plan, that for example I have 7 days of timeline history, so I can see also what happened in the last more than 12 hours in the history. But if I want to access the video, I have to pay, and I can also bookmark 100 videos, and unlimited downloads are also available with the free trial. So if in the last 12 hours something happened and I want to download the video, I can definitely do that. So that's quite nice to have by them. And actually this is the 7 days, I think, free trial, which I'm not even sure. I think this is also some kind of other premium plan. 7 days, I think that's the one that you would probably pay, I think, $5 for. So then in the address, the device will itself right away know where it is because of the Wi-Fi and the network settings, but you can also set up where we are. Then you have different modes, as I mentioned before, so you can set it to privacy or the disarm mode once somebody gets home. I will in a second explain which one means what. Then notifications is one of the most important parts here of the device, where you can set up the sensitivity of the notifications. So if you have a pet at home, obviously the device should not send me all the time a notification if it's just moving around, but you can also set it up for different devices. So if you have the camera in different rooms, for example, you have a room where usually nobody should go in because you have sensitive information there, you can set up a camera there and set the notification sensitivity really high, so your kids don't go into that room or anything like that. Then there is the home health notification, which I like, as I mentioned before, for the oxygen levels and everything else that you could set up here, but is not working right now, obviously, since it's not been in one location for 24 hours. And then you have the offline notifications, which if somebody plugs it out, you also want to get notified about that. That's quite important. Then you can set up your emergency numbers. You can also set it up to be maybe some private person. You can give different members, obviously, different access. Nobody has to pay extra. You can have unlimited members with one device. With buying one device, you really purchase actually everything. And that's really quite nice by Canary, that they don't hook you up to a monthly plan willingly or necessarily. And you can see I have 3 devices set up right now: back door in front of the first door, entry door, and then we have the bar in the basement, and I could add another one here in this location. Up to 4 devices are available, but you can have unlimited locations. So you could be a owner of different shops, and then you could just add one of these cameras in all of the shops to check for the last up to 30 days on your people that work there what they are doing. So if you go back to home settings, you can just add another Canary here. You can check your profile, but you can check the language. Everything else is not that important except for the today widget, which could be quite handy here in iOS, for example, to just see here on top if something is happening right now. You can sound right away the siren from your widget, and that's probably also quite handy. You can change the Fahrenheit, Celsius, and the password and security, and otherwise just log out, and you can also refer a friend. Now if you go back home, you can see on the bottom we have 2 people at home right now, so you can see the little home sign. So Tim and Robert, which is me. So it's not my phone obviously, but our home, you can see the little icon. That's also quite nice to just see always who is home, because everybody who's coming home can check in on the device. And you can set here the most important feature, the privacy disarmed and armed feature. So if everybody's leaving home, you can just say, okay, the device should be armed, and the siren is never sounding by itself, for example. That's also something Canary decided on. You always have to sound the siren manually, but obviously it records, as I said, always everything on the servers, and you can just check always everything back what happened in armed and disarmed mode. With privacy mode, the camera and the microphones are off. I think the other sensors, like as I said, oxygen and humidity and everything else, is still on, because that's not something that would disturb your privacy probably. And then you have here on top obviously also more settings, which we have seen before for the modes, and what mode should be the device should be in once somebody gets home and just says checks in. So this is actually it from Canary. If you have a few questions, like for example what different lights mean here on the bottom, those are the different modes, for example, for armed, disarmed, and so on, and privacy mode. But there's a lot of other things that you can check out about the company, also from the last 1.5 years that they have been on the market, since there is already a lot of owners, and there's also a lot of footage on YouTube and other platforms, which is sometimes funny, of cats jumping around in a building that you would have missed otherwise. So for pet owners, this is also awesome, but it's also interesting to just see, for example, in Canada, the fires just burning down a house, and the Canary camera is recording everything up to the last minute. And obviously Canary is working on other models, new devices, like for example one that has a battery inside, because right now if you just unplug it, it will not work anymore. That's a little bit sad, but obviously the price point has to be also right for the first batch. So $200 is quite awesome, if you ask me, for all these features in a device. So thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Balazs. Till next time, peace and again. This was the Canary home security smart home system. Till next time, thank you much for watching, and see you guys around.